All right, y'all. I'm gonna do a little thinning on this dwarf enamel banana clump. Um, uh, it's the beginning of the dry season, and the tail end of the rainy season, I'd say. But you can sort of see blue skies. There's some wind in the air, and for the next few months, it's gonna be like this: dry, sunny, windy, and it's a good time to thin banana clumps because I want to focus, want to sort of concentrate the energy of the clump. It's kind of, it's okay you can get away with it in rainy season, leaving a clump to sort of get wild, but you should really think about cleaning it up at the tail end of the rainy season, because, at least here in Florida, come January, February, it's going to be cold. It's going to be, like I said, dry and windy. So having too many having too many bananas in a clump will just stretch thin the clump in terms of nutrients. You want to focus and concentrate that energy into the ones that will produce fruit. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do here, and I just wanted to show a good example here. So this is the banana that I'm most concerned with. It's the biggest banana here. It's the oldest one, so to speak. With the second one being this one, the second oldest, and the third oldest being this one. So what I'm gonna do is, because this one is so close in age to this one, they will most likely compete with each other and start making fruit around the same time, developing a rack at the same time, which I don't want, because especially in the dry season, there's not enough nutrients to go around in rain. So I would rather let this banana produce a huge, beautiful rack, and then have this banana keep growing. And by the time this banana has formed a rack and has moved on, this one will be the next one to take charge. Because this one is just too, at least in my opinion, it's too, although it's in such a good place and it's such a healthy banana, but it's just too close to this one. I'd rather have like a successional harvest, as opposed to trying to maintain two banana plants that are giving fruit at the same time right next to each other. And you can see right here, this banana pup that came up is in literally the worst spot possible, just crammed in between these two. So this needs to go, and it'll give more light and information to grow strong for these ones that are in a good position, and good pups that I can possibly, put in a pot to sell or move to another location here, so that I can keep propagating this dwarf enamel, because it's really nice. I really like the sturdiness, and it handled the hurricane pretty well. It's just so short and stocky and just strong. So yeah, I'll see you on the other side so you can get a good look of the thinning job. Okay, so we're done with the thinning. It's it's real simple. I'm not because it's the beginning of the dry season, I don't want to be doing crazy huge radical type prunings. I want to prune just enough to help the system go forward, but not too much where it'll take out too much vegetation, and the cold and the wind could penetrate the system more. So all I did was just take out that one banana that was gonna compete with this banana. So here it is, and there was that other little baby one that was in a really bad position. Now those are dead and will not keep growing. So all that energy that was going into these two, mainly this one, is now going to get pushed back into these right here. And these two, I will, so here, it looks like this is gonna be the one that's gonna produce first, and then this one is gonna be the second one, and then in my opinion, it looks like this one might be the third, because I like the position. It's a little bit farther away. I don't really like bananas that are way too close together. I like kind of like the nice wide triangle. So this one I could, you know, either just cut it down here and make it not sprout anymore, or I can actually remove it from the clump and move it somewhere else, or put it in a pot for selling. And now you can see there's more. There's the future of the banana clump is in these little guys here, which isn't much energy compared to this big old banana that was here getting ready to fruit sometime soon. So now this guy has all that energy, and so does this guy. And furthermore, now there's all this banana biomass from that one and that tiny little one to sprout. From one banana, look at all that biomass. So not only do they get the extra nutrients that one was using, but now they get the extra nutrients in a slow release form over the dry season. And what I typically do is I'll go ahead and put some more mulch on top, and that's like that'll last the whole dry season. Nice little irrigation for these guys so that they don't lose too much water during the dry season. So one of them sacrificed itself for the betterment of the entire clump. And one more thing I wanted to mention was that what I noticed in last year's winter when we had the freeze was that the big banana plants that got frozen back sort of just, it wasn't worth it to keep it anymore. Whereas the ones that are this big, say this one right here, grows up and it gets to be about it gets to be somewhat big, or even this one, you know, there's so many babies coming out. This one, let's say if a freeze happens in, last year it was January, I think, so November, December, like in 3 months from now, there'll probably be new shoots as well. Let's just say it's January and there's one that looks like this, and then a big freeze happens. Well, this little guy really, it's not like there was much to lose with this, you know? So thinning this back and promoting the health and vigor of everything else, of the little babies, means that if there is a frost, then this guy for sure is going to come down. I'm not going to wait and see if I can get a banana rack off of it. I'm just going to go ahead and take it down. And these will be the next fruiters, will be the next generation. So yeah, that's just one simple act of removing a banana could do so much for the overall productivity and health of the clump. And that's that. It's a good time of year if you're in Florida, South Florida, to go ahead and thin your banana clumps. Not crazy heavily, but just enough to give the clump a boost. Okay, so same concept here. This is a Pisang Ceylon banana, I think, I'm pretty sure. Also known as a Mysore, improved Mysore. So you can see a really good scenario here, where these two are sort of the same age, and these two are sort of the same age. So I have to choose from that selection which one stays, because if I leave these two, they'll compete for the same time of fruiting, and if I just leave these two, then the same will happen in the future. Whereas this little guy over here is looking like a very beautiful pup. I like the spacing, how far it is away from everyone else. So if I design around this guy being the future, then I'll probably take this one out, so that this one is the main fruit bearer. And then either I might just leave these two for now. That's the cool thing about just managing in agroforestry. You don't have to, if you're not sure, you don't have to do it right then and there. You could, because everyone's context is different. Like, I might want to take one of these out so that I can go move it somewhere or put it in a pot, or I don't know. You really have to ask yourself, what's your intention with these plants? So, like, I definitely know that I can take this one out, so that this guy could focus on producing a fruit, a rack. So yeah, it might just be as simple as taking this one out for now, and it'll give this one some more power to shoot up, and this one some more power, and give this one that boost of energy it needs to develop a flower and some fruit. So let's see. Okay, so I just decided on taking this one out, and you can see just from one tree one plant, you can see how much biomass is going to be available for the rest of these bananas. Cover all those banana chunks up. So because the Pisang Ceylon is pretty notorious for being susceptible to wind damage, and because this is the edge, I felt like just keeping it beefy and keeping the clump, because one of these has to go, is the reality of the situation. They're both the exact same height, they're both the exact same age, they're both gonna be trying to compete for the exact same spaces. So but you got to remember, everything's about context, so the Pisang Ceylon is liable to wind damage. So if this guy splits, which I've seen multiple times already, they get really nice and big and beautiful, and especially in the dry, windy season, it's liable to just split. So if it does, then I at least already have two sort of bulky pups coming up, and then I can choose from there if I want. So the Pisang Ceylons, I kind of treat a little differently compared to, like, say, the dwarf Namois that I did earlier. The more I'm working with them, the more I'm seeing them better fitted to purely a service type crop. Like, they're just not as bulky as the other ones, and they're sort of just like annoying, might be a good word. they're just super skinny compared to the other ones, and it's just, they're very useful, but for other purposes. I've yet to try Pisang Ceylon, so maybe once I try one, I would think otherwise of them, but because I've heard they're very, very, very delicious. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Getting biomass to the ground because dry season is approaching, and we all know what happens with mulch. When you put mulch down in the dry season, it just starts to crispify. The top layer just gets baked, and sometimes it's hard for water to infiltrate into there. Obviously, if you've already had multiple layers of mulch for many months, then it's going to be wet in the bottom. But this stuff is pretty much pure water, so you can put mulch on top of that, and that's just going to be a little water tank down there. So yeah, that's all. I just thought those were two good examples, and I'm still learning about banana management. I feel like I'm taking long with making my decisions, because I just feel like I'm not quite there yet, where I'm just like, oh yeah, this one stays, this one goes, this one goes, this one goes. I'm more like, I'm just gonna take this one out for now and then see where that goes, because I might want to use this for something and move it over there. I don't know. I feel like I'm still at a very cautious point in terms of banana management, but that's all. I just figured it's helpful to me when I look at YouTube videos of people managing bananas and their decision making behind it. So figured it'd be helpful to somebody out there.